Good morning and welcome to the Talk of the Town. My guest this morning is Professor Aruna Shanthaarachchi, Professor in Economics at the University of Sabragamur. Good morning and welcome to the show, Professor.
Good morning.
Professor, Sri Lanka is an agriculture-based economy, but we are constantly told of issues in our agriculture policy, in our agriculture system, such as issues in irrigation and water management, productivity, climate change, lack of technological enhancement, issues in marketing. Why is the agriculture paradigm in Sri Lanka in a mess?
Yeah, because the in Sri Lankan context, agriculture is agriculture laid the foundation for the rural economy, and in the rural areas, actually, majority of the farmers, sometimes more than 70% of the farmers are engaging in paddy farming, and their main livelihood implication depend on the paddy farming. And also, once we consider the employment situations, out of the total labor force, around 25% engaged in agriculture sector in Sri Lanka, and that figure would totally change with the rural area. It means more than 50% of the labor force or the workforce is working under the agriculture. But anyhow, during last 3-4 decades, with the market economy and also the capitalism economic side, the government take many action for commercialize farming activities, or they always try to enhance the agriculture sector in Sri Lanka. But even at the moment, these farmers are facing many issues and problems with their productivity, their water management, the marketing, technological now, and so in all the sectors they are facing very difficult issues with the agriculture sector in Sri Lankan context, because of there are some policy gap, because each and every aspect it is perfectly linked with the policy, but in Sri Lankan agricultural policy is not strength and not keen, not the purely focused the grassroots level farmers. So that the main reasons. So the policymakers take the action but not properly implement. So therefore farmers are still facing difficulties and major issues with the agricultural production sector.
Researchers have highlighted that mismanagement of water is one of the main issues in the dry zone, and that it generates a significant loss to the national budget. Speak to us about what the prevailing issues are in this respect.
Yeah, because in the Sri Lankan context, farmers get in water freely. They thought always the water should be supplied by the government, and it is a free commodity, or it is a public goods and the common property. It's one of the main issue with the common property is this a free ride issue, or the tradage of common. The free ride means the farmers can use the water without paying. It means they are getting water, and sometimes they have overexploitation of water, because what is not generating with the price. Whatever the other inputs the farmer, when they purchasing, they should have to pay it for those inputs, but they are getting water without paying, and they are not concerned for the water, and they use more and more water. Therefore finally it is a overexploitation, and that overexploitation would impact on the income disparity sometimes, because sometimes generating intra disparity and sometimes the inter disparity. So that is a major reason. That's why actually the World Bank several times proposed that the Sri Lankan farmer should have to pay for water, and they try to propose and they try to introduce water pricing practices to the Sri Lankan economy, Sri Lankan farmers, but unfortunately all those effort is not success. And even at the moment, farmer getting water freely, and they use more and more water, and finally that is cost to the government, and fiscal burden is very high. But mismanagement of the water, that is a bad practices actually.
Professor, what policy reforms do you propose to increase agricultural growth in the country, given the fact that there is growing food insecurity vis-a-vis climate change? There are issues in overusage of fertilizer resulting in ill health to its consumers. There's a massive mafia issue in the supply chain, as a result of which farmers are ultimately at their receiving end.
Yeah, because actually we should revisit all the policies, just starting with the land policy, the marketing policy, technological policies, or the water management policies, and the all those policies actually we should have to revisit and rethink about that. Sometimes the policies are okay, but policies are not properly implemented at a grassroots level. So that is one of the major reasons here. But some policies are not matched with the recent capitalism economic structure, and sometimes, for a simple example, now irrigation department, they have more than 20 acts and ordinance on water management practices. Most of them are outdated, some are not practices, some are not directly focused the current issues here. So therefore those are just policies but not in really practices and not matched with the current market economic system. So that's why here, if we apply current liberalized and new liberalized market economy, the agricultural policies also should match comparable with current market practices, and otherwise we cannot expect some advanced improvement of the agriculture sector.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Aruna Shanthaarachchi. Thank you. And it's back to the studio.
Okay, thank you.